Hey, everybody. Welcome to Meddkit's Provider Spotlight, where we are interviewing really interesting and really inspiring people in private practice. And today we have a really awesome guest. Her name is Natasha Hescott, and she is our guest speaker. And we are very, very excited to have you. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
Yes, we are super excited and we're kind of gonna dive right in. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your story. What inspired you to open up your own practice?
Great question. Well, I was inspired to open Hescott Nutrition Services in part by experiencing the heartbreaking loss of my mother to type 2 diabetes and chronic kidney disease, which ultimately led to her being on dialysis.
Mhm.
So that was part of the experience for me, which wasn't very pleasant. In addition to that, my love for nutrition inspired me to dedicate my career to promoting healthy eating and living. So I truly feel that serving people is my ultimate purpose.
Yes. No, I love that. And I find a lot of the times when I interview folks, they are taking some unique experience that they have had. And whether it's negative or positive, maybe they've had an accident or they're helping a loved one and they go into whatever field they decide to go in. But I think that's where the passion comes from, is because it's very personal and they're
Correct.
being how they've been able to help someone or help themselves in some way, and then wants to replicate that process so they can help more people in the process. So I love that people have that burning passion to create a great space for other people. And so in terms of creating that great space, what is your approach, as a dietitian and helping people, get on track to being their best selves? How is your approach different?
Okay. So as a dietitian, it is important to me to implement a culturally sensitive approach to medical nutrition therapy and deliver personalized patient-centered care services. Um, this is important because I'm a Guyanese immigrant, and incorporating cultural foodways into my practice is extremely important because it allows me to meet my clients where they are.
Yeah.
Um, Meet them where they are in their food ways. So, many of my clients, they have a Caribbean West Indian background. So I can relate to them because, my food ways is very similar to theirs.
Right. I
So
love.
it allows me also to tap into that area. And as you know, dietitians can focus on different areas and different cultural backgrounds. So this is what I choose because it works for me.
Yeah, I love that. I think a lot of the times, even when I'm thinking about maybe a dietitian or so, I don't think about all the different types of people and walks of life that you must see come through your door. And it is important to be able to say, okay, I might eat differently than you, or you might eat differently from me, but I'm gonna find something that works for you and still have it be familiar. Um,
Correct.
to what you like. And so the change isn't going to be as hard or as drastic because it's already familiar to you. And so I love that you have that background and that you're able to serve other people that maybe also commonly don't get served in the same way that you treat people. So I love that, that's your key differentiator. And do you think, by being a dietitian, there's other misconceptions or, other, like, if you could tell people really what you do, that I think that would be really helpful. And then going over any misconceptions people might think about, oh, a dietitian only does this, what do you commonly have those questions that come up and people ask you and you're like, no, 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 that's not true.
All right, great. It's a great question, Rachel. So I want people to know that being a dietitian is an opportunity to really invest in personalized guidance and support to improve their health and well-being. My role goes beyond just providing meal plans because sometimes I hear, dietitians only provide meal plans. It's not true. I also offer evidence-based nutrition advice. I help set realistic goals and empower my clients to make sustainable lifestyle changes. I also take a holistic approach to providing services. So, overall, when you come to me, even though I'm a dietitian, I have more expertise than just being a dietitian.
Yeah.
In the in Yes, because I'm continuously doing continuing educations, credits every year, and I'm also attending several different seminars. So I'm always learning in order to help meet my clients where they are and give them the best service possible and add value to the services I am providing.
I love that. And
Um,
I feel like there's always new information that's coming out, new research
Correct.
that's being done. And so I love that you're like, that work's not done, so neither is mine. And so I'm going to keep up on, the latest things, what is happening, and
Correct.
being able to serve my clients so that they're healthier in the end. So I love that you're continuing education as you're also helping people so that they can get better too.
Correct. Correct. So one common misconception is dietitians only work with individuals trying to lose weight.
Mm.
While we can certainly assist with weight management, our expertise extends way beyond that, into areas like managing chronic conditions like cancer, diabetes, which I do, renal disease, sports nutrition, digestive health, and overall promoting your wellness.
Yeah, you know what? That's really interesting. I would imagine that all those people in all those arenas need certain, you know, um, different foods, a different way of eating, for each of those different ailments and each of those different issues. And what would you say is like the most common for you? Do you see a lot of a certain kind of issue, that's very prevalent in, 2024? Is there something that you're like, oh wow, I'm seeing a lot more of this than I've used to? Um,
So for me, I do see a lot of people who are trying to lose weight,
sure.
which is normal, but
Yeah.
I'm also seeing a lot of people with digestive issues and women who are going through perimenopause.
Mm,
Right. And that's not an area that I originally wanted to focus on, but I find myself doing it anyway because I don't turn my clients away. They're women, they're trying to lose weight. But sometimes by losing the weight or trying to lose the weight, there's other issues that contributing to that weight loss goal, which is one of them is perimenopause. Right? It's harder to lose weight when you're going through your perimenopausal stage of life. And so I am empowering myself so I can help them the best way possible.
yeah. What do you think about that process or a lot of those folks with the digestive issues? You were saying, that's not something that I kind of intended to go into as much, but I'm seeing a lot of people. What do you think is like the major cause of such issues now coming up with that? Like, I mean, a lot of people that I know, have a ton of digestive issues. It's something that is like, it's dinner table talk. Oh, like, I have acid reflux. Oh, me too. And like,
Exactly.
it's like it's normal, but it's not normal, right? So
Correct.
why do you think this is becoming such a popular thing in our culture?
Honestly, I think it's a combination of things, environmental toxins,
Mm,
um, uh, food toxins. We have a lot of toxins in the environment, in our food, pesticides. We have mold-infested buildings
yeah.
that we're not aware of many times. We live in a lot of old buildings, and who knows what the history of that building is in terms of water damage, right? We don't know. And so mold might be lurking somewhere and we're not aware of it and we're breathing it in and it impacts our digestive system. In addition to that, you have leaky gut, right? And that is coming from some of our foods, um, foods that are ultra processed is contributing to leaky gut. So there's a combination of things that is contributing to, the excess, the GERD, the bloating, all the GI issues that we can think of are coming from several different places. And it's important that we as dietitians learn as much as possible, which I think there's a lot of GI dietitians that are contributing to the field as we speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really
Mhm.
important. I think a lot of people are, particularly really struggling with that. And so I'm really glad that you brought it up and also brought it up in a way that it's like, yes, it's affecting a lot of people
It
every
really
single
is.
day, and it's becoming more prevalent. And, there are ways to, solve and make them better, have symptoms go away. But it is true is that like, we don't pay enough attention to our environment as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's things that we may not be noticing. There's things that we may not know. We may not know there's mold
Correct.
in our
Correct.
house or things like that.
Correct.
Or, you may uncover it. You go into that, you might have to break into a wall. You might have to do a test and go into a vent and see, what's happening with the mold toxicity and how that's affecting you. You just may not be aware. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of things that we don't know or not aware that are definitely affecting us. But in terms of going kind of back to, the GI issues or anything really to, maintain our health and be at our optimal health, what would you say are some steps that some folks can take today to, to take a step in the right direction, whether it's, maybe if you can give advice for one of those folks that are going through, menopause, or folks that are dealing with GI issues, or feeling relatively healthy, but there's something that you could do to kind of even further, your success in your health. What do you think those things would be?
Okay, so that's a great question, Rachel. So currently on my Instagram stories, you can find daily tips to make sustainable changes.
That's awesome.
And yes, and one of those tips is like you can add a probiotic food daily.
Mhm.
Eating foods such as yogurt, kefir, or kimchi, which are high in probiotics, helps to regulate and maintain healthy digestive health. So you can start with something as simple as that. Okay. Staying hydrated is another one.
Yeah.
Rather, staying hydrated by limiting sugary beverages and replacing it with herbal tea or fruit infused water. That can certainly help um, with staying hydrated. And as you know, more than 70% of our body is water. So it's important that we stay hydrated and protect ourselves from some of the chronic conditions like constipation,
Yep.
right? Another thing that we can do is limit visible fats, right? Use avocado as a spread instead of butter. Right? Avocado is a great way to add heart healthy fats and reduce saturated fats from our diets.
Yep.
So that's another great way to limit um, visible fat, sorry.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we can also try adding fruits and vegetables that are in season. So for example, we're in spring. Every season has its own vegetable and
Yep.
own fruit, which provides a lot of great nutrients for our body. And also, they are very supportive in terms of our budget, right? Buying fruits and vegetables that are in season, they're cheaper than fruits and vegetables that are out of season.
Sure.
So the best way to find out what farmers market is in your area is to Google it and see and really visit them, because they're usually local farmers and they can help with providing fruits and vegetables that are in season.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're not probably using as many pesticides or any at all, maybe depending, like you mentioned
Correct.
in the grocery store.
Correct. They're low in that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I love what you had talked about with water. I think a lot of us are pretty bad at drinking water. We often forget. The glass could be sitting next to us, but we're typing away and
Correct.
just not noticing. It's kind of what we were talking about before is that, things are environmental, but a part of that is like we are also just not taking notice of things. We're not taking note. So, the water could be sitting next to us, but we totally forget to drink. But I love that, we can spice things up once in a while and say, hey, instead of, the sugary items and things like that, why don't you put a couple pieces of fruit in your water to kind of infuse it? And, I think that's a really good tip for people that are kind of just maybe bored of drinking regular water and adding something fun to it.
Absolutely. And they're easy to do. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. I think this is
you're
terrific
welcome.
tips. Yeah, these are terrific tips. I think really easy. I love also the one that you gave about avocado instead of butter. I think that's genius. I think avocado is delicious. And of course, like, why not put it on your toast instead of butter? Or why not put it on a piece of bread or whatever you have, or a cracker or whatever it might be instead of butter? That's like a very easy no-brainer. And I think it, in fact, really tastes better. So, I wouldn't
I
have,
absolutely agree.
yeah, I wouldn't have ever thought about that. And I think it's fun for kids too because it's green.
Mm.
And
Yes, I agree. I think it's fun for the entire family.
yeah, I think that's terrific. Natasha, this has
Oh.
been really wonderful. I really appreciate all your time and your wonderful tips that will definitely propel individuals and families into leading a healthier life. So this has been really fabulous. But before we go today, is there anything that you'd like to add or tell people about where to find you, how to contact you with, more questions or, or just want to reach out for more information?
Yes, absolutely. I am on Instagram and Twitter, and my handle is Hescott Wellness. My website also is hescottwellness.com. So feel free to reach out with any questions you may have or support you may be seeking.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Natasha. This has been wonderful. It was great to have you and hope to have you again soon.
Yes, thank you for having me and looking forward to working again.
Yes.